the truth, but instead are given lies and falsities. There is no your truth, no many truths. There is just the truth. Truth would be shown on this channel without emojis, stupid obnoxious voices, add-ins, or selfish opinions added in to get a like and a subscriber to get revenue. Although some may attempt to confuse you with computer voices and deceits, to blind, to take advantage of ignorant, be at ease, to be aware, at the most shadowed moments the light shines brightest. Quote, this stands for the leak house.
777. 721. Heroes Trimegistus. Be aware that the sign of wickedness, the wicked digits, is when a 3 is next to atrophy, a 6. And that will even come in the sky if it's called gematria if it's written in alphabet form. Remember that the satanic and wicked stuff is very deceptive.
Abraxas.
If someone's writing F, and then another F, that's a trick on your intelligence to say the wicked digits. The other sign is with a C and then with an F next to each other. Whenever 3 and a 6 is next to each other, that's the wicked digits. This is also the reason apoLLo, Loki, Shiva, Ra, whose sign is a mouse, a rat, who rides upon a Fenris wolf, had changed the calendar from 370 to, he took away 5 twilights of that, and became, and even the counting, a completion is 10, but by him changing to 12 degrees in the God sight above all, like looking up and looking down, it would make a 6. But a 6 alone is an evil. But if it's, say, after 359, remember, whenever 3 is next to, after a fever, so a 6, that's the wicked digits.
The sign of wickedness. 12 stages, 3 afternoons
So
equals 300 after 59.
Greetings. This is the lead house. This Twilight segment will speak about not this scene, of course, not this glyph, but we shall go speaking about what the mark of the beast actually is, and in what way that many of you have been being deceived. Just a start for anyone who's actually wicked or evil. I have no problem saying the scene of the beast. They'll say it without a problem. If they have a soul, if they are godly, they won't say it at all. So I will not say it all, but you will get the gist. The mark of the beast is not the same as the mark of wickedness. The scene of wickedness is 6, 6, and then another one after that. But the book of the lesser ones, the Israelites, those who follow the Michael and his father, they said clearly the mark, the sign of the beast, not the scene of wickedness. And this is the deception. And many may be doing this and they're not even aware of where they've been deceived. And And this secession was caused by two children of Zeus. Those children are apoLLo, Loki, Shiva, Ra, Tezcatlipoca. The other child is caused by Zagreus, Dionysus, Set, Bacchus, Enoch, Metatron. Anyone who follows these two have been deceived and are doing the labor of the adversary against those elite. So, I'm going to get right to it. Now I read to you the Revelations as it is written, 13. The beast who came out of the planet. Then saw a second beast come out of the planet, and it had two horns, as a lamb, which is spoken as a dragon. It exercised all the authority of the supreme beast on this behalf. And made the planet and its inhabitants praise the supreme beast. Whose vital wound had been healed, and it did great scenes, even causing blaze to come down upon the heavens to the planet in full view of the people. Because of the scenes it was given potent sight to do on behalf of the supreme beast. It deceived the inhabitants of the planet Earth. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast, who was wounded by the sword and yet lived.
Blaze out of the sky, the 4th of July.
But then the second beast was given potent
Super
sight
Bowls.
to give breath to the image of the supreme beast. So the image at Cuspiac can cause all who deny to praise the image to be slain, to be killed. It also had made all people, great and small, rich and poor, unbalanced slave, to receive a mark, a sign on their right hands or on their brow, so they could not buy or sell unless they had this sign upon them, which is the name of the BS.
It's like people picking LGBTO and stuff.
And this calls
Or
towards
a
wisdom,
vaccine.
Or
which
a
means you
religion.
have to use your brain and think it out. Let the person who calls and sight calculate the number of the beast, the number of man.
Is 6, because they have 6 abs, muscles. A human has 8 abs and muscles, and a divine and a god has 10 abs and muscles. The cord, a 6-pack.
I'm not going to say the digits, but it's the wicked digits. But the mark of the beast. Now, the wicked digits are, as we are aware, is 6, 6, and then another one. But it could come in many different forms. Such as, it'll be forced upon them and they will not have a choice. It means that it'll be on their beverages to drink, to eat, addresses, registrations, chairs. And what does this have to do with apoLLo? Because when apoLLo went to Egypt as Ra, and he took over the land of his brother Thoth, Hermes, who was the savior of the people of Israel, under the name of Jehutai, which is Thoth, Hermes, was the deliverer of the people of Israel. Prime stuff, the mark of the beast. So, what would be the sign of the beast? These are beasts. And it's right there before you. You need wisdom to discern this. You see those alphabets, the F and then the L. Well, that's F translates to a 6. And that L translates to 12. This is a very interesting combination, and this is no conspiracy theorist, because when that combines, you add that to each other, that equals 18. And if that equals 18, then that's divided by 3 would equal to a 6. And so if you add that 3 moments, that equals the, you gotta be 18 to do this or that, which is, or the 18th solstice. Or they say that, even though this is not accurate, people quit puberty or finish puberty at 18.
So let's proclaim.
There's 12 months in the calendar. 12 months in a calendar, 12 stages, with 30 twilights by the Gregorian calendar.
Remember, it was 10.
apoLLo's calendar, when he got kicked out of, when he kicked his brother Hermes away of Egypt, Ra took over that land and established a calendar to replace Thoth's, Hermes calendar, which was instead of 10, the natural order of your fingers is 10. 10 planets, 10 fingers, 10 hours of sunshine, 10 hours of evening tea, 10 toes. That's called the calendar of nature, or of the moon. apoLLo had came and replaced that calendar to 12. Now this is hidden, it's not something obvious, and people have been fooled because apoLLo is the deceiver.
July and August was added in by Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar.
Wicked digits.
apoLLo had turned the calendar to 12. With the people who, his army was the Romans, who was founded by apoLLo and Ares' wolf, Furnus, who suckled Romulus and Remus, and made the Roman people. The Roman people who killed the one of Nazareth, Emmanuel, Yeshua. The one of Nazareth. Now, the mark of the beast, are a beast. You hear people saying they're going beast on someone, or that's a beast. They're trying to incarnate satanic stuff tangibly. You can't let these, you can't just walk into this. The mark of the beast, restaurants. One of apoLLo's signs is a mouse. Places with a rat, a mouse. You can look this up on Google or in a history book, or go to the Liber. I know that seems distinct.
Mouses spread plagues.
You're being deceived. The mark of the beast,
rats,
are beast. Turn people into beast. What reason would that be? Because beasts are able to be sacrificed. They're not killing a man if this man is calling himself a bear. They're not killing a man, they're calling himself a leon, or a crow, or a seahawk, or a riving, or a goat. These terms of slang, they're tricking your younger generation who's in crowded ignorance to be cool, to be modern. And it's a deception. You don't have to belong to a religion, but this beast didn't conquer a certain religion, it conquered a people all over the planet, forcing them, making them do stuff that normal living stuff and activities. The mark of the beast are just as it said, jaguars, tigers, supporting their home team.
Monkeys, gorillas,
now,
dogs,
all these sports
predator
teams are beasts. There are some saints, some other stuff, but the person who doesn't, they have a choice to pick these. The mark of the beast is putting stuff, telling people they have to eat meat by force under hidden names.
Egg yolks,
red 40,
gelatin,
Lake 41, yellow 5, yellow 4 fever. Not calling it veins, eyeballs, pupils, teeth, tongue, intestines. Mark of the beast, protein. Misuse. They can't kill another man if God protects men, but they could kill them even if they go kosher and still, because it said that it would be sweet to their stomach.
No.
It would be sweet to their mouth,
Yes.
not to their stomach, but bitter to their stomach. Meat of animals, beast, carcass. You are what you eat. It's one eats a carcass, even eggs. If they eat a carcass, a body of a beast, then association and assimilation. Now, what about this mark on the wrist? Now that should be clear. The mark of the beast is a beast, a football logo, a sports team, a theme park with an animal on it.
Games. Doggy style.
People have an unbound will and they could pick any item they want, which means it could have been called the Football Academy or the Basketball Association.
Or golly
They
style.
choosily pick names with beast and get people to buy these jerseys and choose on their own will
Or Minnesota Angels.
to support this beast, and they won't be able to go anywhere without it. A mark of the beast, and the mark of wickedness is the wicked digits on their wrist. A watch.
Gospel.
This is orchestrated by apoLLo, Loki Shiva Ra who believed that he was the only one who should be ruling the heavens, and he had a small penis. He also engaged in homosexual activities with Cyprus, Hyacinth, to name a few. And he was the only Olympian to truly do so, since Zeus saved a abused child named giganTes and made him his cupbearer. Partially orchestrated by racism and a superiority by the house of apoLLo, whose sign made it all other belief system. They even got fooled by this apoLLo because his sign, he invited the stars of the champions of Troy to a banquet on an invitation.
Because Troy they honored
The
Apollo.
Greeks.
Of a sword.
He built their wall.
An
Him and
upside down
Poseidon.
sword. An upside down sword is a sign of apoLLo to the Greeks, Loki to Scandinavians.
To mean come in peace.
Shiva in India, and Ra to the Egyptians.
Tezcatlipoca.
He's
to the Aztecs.
the adversary. He's the sixth child. Ignites his wings. This is a sword on Google, and it's upside down. Y'all know what this is? You've seen this many moments. The Romans used this in place of the cross. The upside down sword is what translates as a crucifix. This is a sign sacred to apoLLo. A mouse, a rat, is also sacred to apoLLo.
The apple too.
And who did any other beings misguided by this deceiver? God-believing beings have been confused to attack in his name, in his honor, against God, because there's no one before him. That's what he wants to say. Even though the lamb bearer is his brother Hermes.
Mikael.
This is a sword, an upside down sword. This adversary has bragged about killing this Savior, this one of Nazareth. They're boasting, hanging his body up and forcing it upon people across the planet 2,000 solstices ago. He deceived many good Christians, many good men, many those who followed the teachings of this extraordinary being.
By deception and brutality.
Many were deceived by apoLLo, but with racisms and attacks.
Starvation could do that. and brutality.
And a certain type of a superiority of one belief or religion under another. Even religion was invented by apoLLo. But be at ease. Put the racisms aside. You have to unite together. If evil, wickedness is going through this effort and is tangible, then that means that God's goodness, also beauty, righteousness, is also tangible. But you have to humble yourselves past your prides and racisms. You have to see and join together against these foes, hidden by these different names. But there's also a savior, champions, gods. But there's not just one. You have to put these aside to beat this foe who's deceived. Deceived good men, children, people. 777. Remember, they could have called it any name that they wanted to, but they chose to popularize dog. There's only one who beast to call was a dog, and that was apoLLo. He had a dog named Furnace Wolf. Loki, apoLLo Loki Shiva Ra Kapoka. And dog, D-O-G, spelled backwards. If you spell it accurately, it's G-O-D, God. Turning people away of God. Embracing the dog. Calling each other dogs. Having dogs.
Dog face
Asclepius is Anubis Ganesha. Nabu
The dog face of demons.
was apoLLo's son, and his sign is a jackal.
Dobermans.
A dog.
Dobermans. Pet bulls. The jackal, the Doberman.
To someone to see themselves as a dog, someone to embrace dogs, is to go against gods. There's no cats of hell, there's hounds of hell. Keep that in mind. This deception. Nonsense. No stuff. Then what is and where there's so much effort, so much task be placed to get majority of people, unless they are extra smart, to pay their way or started later or got held back, finished their schooling academia generally when they're about 18, but the grade of their seniority is 12.
It's like every step equals a 6.
13, and then you need to status, I would think, it goes
or 7.
Collegiate Academia University, which is grades 13 through 20. Most papers, I think they still would call it, if someone's in collegiate academia, grade 13 and 14, sophomore, and so on and so on. But the general people are 18 when they're in after grade 11th, after a junior. This guy's at the word senior. A senior, when they go to the prom, they're about 18. And that would be the grade 12, which is the wicked digits.
When you
And
add it
this
up.
wasn't true. Then what could have been grade 10, grade 11, or after? Was this so almost as if it's forced to be only that? No other choices. I think that whoever advised these people to see them, one of the instances is also this. This is attacking people's food against their will, I would think, because it's not obviously on the bottle. And it's non-alcoholic. The title of this particular brand, but I'm going to open this up for you. And it's not alcoholic. Towards yourself. What digits? If that the digits was a lie, if it was just conspiracy or just some statement, then where would they put so effort to make it transparent? The wicked digits. Now, who's going to be able to look and see that? They drink this, they're drinking wickedness. And it's hidden from them. It's not in a way they can see it. This is under the cap. This will be on somebody's mouth.
The 3 is right
and this
next
is sold
to
in stores. And it's not one
the
particular
6.
brand. You got to be very vigilant at what you're doing. And you're racist if you have any type of racism. That would include thinking that you're a superior side of town, a superior gender, a superior that phase are greater than masculines. Masculines are greater than phase. Young is greater than old. This is wickedness. And these people are, whoever's doing this is not even a mortal. These are somebody who's after your souls to corrupt you. Who would spend millions and billions of spending units to corrupt good, decent, brave soldiers, good ballers who end up, because of mistreatment, became racism, supremacist groups, or some carefree young child who's thirsty, or an adult who's thirsty, and they'll hide it in it underneath the cap, just like this. No one would even usually think to see that. This is satanic deception at its finest. If you're not vigilant, if you don't have the sight, and a true priest, by the way, is androgynous. No superficiality, no vainglory.
From the bloodline of Aaron.
This could be any drink. There is a particular drink, but I cannot say the name of this drink. You can find this at your grocery stores.
In the juice aisle and the refrigerators.
This is being forced upon you, and it could have been for many generations. And it's been done by apoLLo, Loki, Shiva, Ra, Tezcatlipoca. Whose sign is a mouse, and a dog, a wolf, and a bald eagle. Before it ended in the United States, whoever advised them of this tried to corrupt them too. But their sign was a phoenix.
And Zeus'
sign was eagle is a sign of Zeus. There's only one who rebelled against Zeus. His son, anyway. One of his sons rebelled against him. And that son was apoLLo. And he got sent down to earth off of Olympus.
With Poseidon,
he got trapped for a decade, which translates to 1,000 solstices in the legend of the adversary. Now, the adversary is not Satan, and it's not Lucifer. God has a couple of enemies.
Each time.
But interesting enough that God is spelled
Metatron, Bacchus, Set,
D-U-S.
Dionysus, apoLLo, Loki,
also
Shiva,
in
Tezcatlipoca,
Latin
Ari, Store,
for theology. T-H-E-O, Theos, means God. And that name means Z-E-U-S, Zeus, the child that rebelled against the father.
Was
You're
the
speaking
older,
of apoLLo,
the older brother,
Zeus.
the older
apoLLo,
brother of
whose
Hermes.
sign is a mouse, deceiving the nations of men. Guard yourselves, people.
Never heard of a younger brother, your sibling beating up an older one.
Zeus is standing in towards God, and the spelling of it and their idea of God comes with Zeus. Because even biblical and all the paintings came of what they saw with the Olympians. And the only ones with wings was Hermes and Nike, Athena, Itiseshat, Gabriel just said.
And Psyche Soteria.
And Zeus' sign was an eagle. Then apoLLo infiltrated with the bald eagle to signify that he rebelled against Zeus. So in these movies, in these modern movies like Clash of the Titans, Wrath of the Titans, any TV show, Legendary Journeys, The Battling Princess, and most likely in the newer movies too, they keep trying with deception to tell people to dishonor God, and the idea of playing out their ignorance that Zeus represents this God. So if they kill Zeus in these movies, that means their mind is to kill God. That's deception off of their ignorance.
It's like attacking Kal-El, the super one. They're trying to make him look evil too.
That's common Apollo's Egyptian name.
Ra arthritis, rheumatism, arthritis.
Followers around. So
Apollo's
let's see
gift.
what there are some of his devotees on Google.
Or attack.
Some of his devotees on Google, as you can see, he has locations across places in the planet. This says Florida. There's many of them.
On plastic bags.
Pharmacize, as he was called Payon in the heavens.
Spray rheumatism, arthritis as Ra, apoLLo Ra.
Management company.
Advising wrong stuff to
This
people.
is actually all other religions and places around the planet. He's Satan. His ally, the devil. You see, Apollo, he's not a god, he's an Olympian, but here it says now he does got devotees, keep that in mind. It wasn't said deity, but they want you to play a name with games by claiming godhood.
Try to absurd.
Here it says that as if he's Helios, as if he is. It says here the sun, he's the one over sun and lead, music and poetry, healing plagues, prophesy. Now, interesting enough that music was made by Hermes, not Apollo.
That's true.
Usurping even there. It says that the sun, but Helios is the sun and lead, or the sun. Healing and plagues belong to him. But here's the catch. They usually show him like this. Yellow mane and azul pupils.
Whoever's putting
That's
this up
fine.
is corrupting.
Except the fact that if he was with the sun, his mane could have been yellow and pupils azul. It's a sign that he actually can't stand in the sun medically. So this is a sign of Apollo's assertion.
It's also a sign of lying.
And he was aging
Now,
because of the sun, because he made the wicked
Apollo,
deal,
anybody
soul to
who's
soul.
a sun deity, would have blonde, yellow mane, and azul pupils.
So Olympians could be yellow mane.
Would mean that they actually can't stand the sunlight. So here's another assertion, which means Apollo, if he had yellow mane and azul pupils, has a stigroid, which is called the mark of the back eye, or vampire stigroids. This would mean that Apollo can't stand in the sun, as the deity of the sun was actually Helios, Shamash, Utu, Babar.
So Olympians don't have yellow mane.
Yellow mane
and azul pupils.
Azul pupils is a deficiency.
That means angels don't either.
Somebody changed the dot on
Their hair would
YouTube.
have been darker.
They changed it.
Fair mane means brown mane.
Unable to process the beams of the sun. And this happens to any race on this planet. Not particularly pink skin mortal, brown skin mortal, Nesians, but any race. It's the mark of those who rebelled against Zeus, which is the most reason that some followers of Apollo would most likely try to kill Zeus in movies or make fun or something of him. But if Zeus was a mortal and living long, then it's quite possible for him to have all those babies and meet those women through the course of his long living. Not as if he was laying with this maiden all at once, but in a span of some 10,000 solstices.
That would make sense.
That would make more sense for him to have a bride throughout.
These people try to treat people not like
Watch
God.
the deception.
To turn against
These
God.
people call the Apollo Theater a temple to Apollo in the underplanet of New York.
The soul of the United States.
The soul
It's
of
monsters.
the United States.
It's like the devil is busy.
He's after the soul of the United States, more like. You can see it clearly there.
We can't let that happen.
This is all from his devotees. So even if you're looking on Google and looking this stuff up, you gotta be very cautious. You gotta look deeper. Because ever since around maybe the 18th, 2118 AD. Since there's some, you guys want to call them geeks, maybe, but somebody, a teenager at that point, with a mindset towards wickedness, has been writing some kind of way instead of getting data that's educational and facts. There's a group of fans who go to fandom, and now they found a way to get to Wikipedia and then take the front page of Google itself and put false data. So don't be deceived.
Because Google don't even know about
You gotta look deep.
They're not even aware of
Now,
it.
this is what it says about apoLLo. Sounds like a nice guy. But if you go deeper, you'll find he's not a god at all. For the Greeks, say, you type in the meaning of what is apoLLo, they're going to say these attributes. This is very bothersome, since they already aware what it means. Now, this is going on under Google's nose. They're not even aware of this, or Google's modem or screen, since
These
Google
people
may
are
not
just
have a nose.
these people are just putting stuff what
Now,
they
good
want.
and evil cannot coexist. Wickedness, good cannot coexist. Wickedness and good cannot coexist. Riches and evil cannot coexist. Now, two bodies do not occupy one space. So what way can apoLLo be the one over order and beauty? Knowledge, when that was considered Aphrodite, or Hermes, or finesse, when it was Hermes who invented music and poetry. But here, this writer said all these qualities because they like him, and physical superiority and moral virtue, when apoLLo stood at 5'7".
apoLLo, they're lying to us.
And he haven't had a child named Hermaphroditus, which meant the perfect sex being. But if we look deeper at apoLLo past what his devotees try to make you think, we'll discover that apoLLo's name actually is biblical. If you type in the right statement and pray to the right gods and believe in the truth will show. Towards apoLLo's name means the annihilator, the destroyer. It says here, let's scroll up more to see if it's just that one person's opinion.
And it's not.
And it says here, what reason does apoLLo means the destroyer, the annihilator? The name comes of apoLLon, the Greek translation of the Hebrew word abaddon, which means abandoning, apologies. Now, what way can... And somebody even wrote that it was for babies' names, the destroyer, for a baby.
It's a baby website.
On this site, it says here,
www. Baby names.
it says babies' names.
apoLLo the
And
Destroyer.
being aware that apoLLo means the destroyer. And Abaddon is a demon, one of the fallen ones. The key to the bottomless pit in hell is held by Abaddon. And somebody suggests that this is for babies' names. Even to cover it up because of the fear of apoLLo. And I think the Bible says, do not fear evil or wickedness or Satan and the devil.
Or their
But
comments and
here it says, the cover up to support it out of fear, apoLLo was one of the early disciples. When, as we see, apoLLo, so apoLLo was one of the earlier Christian disciples. The destroyer,
or the adversary.
The destroyer was one of the early Christian disciples. Even though apoLLo
killed.
If he was a destroyer or Abaddon, then who did he annihilate? Who did he annihilate? Let's take a look at with an upside down sword.
apoLLo
he
bragged.
Destroyed.
apoLLo bragged about it with his prayer.
Of Nazareth.
And he also flayed and burnt Messiahs
over losing a music contest.
The adoptive son of God.
And Phorobos and the children of Neobit.
And he annihilated every other stuff. The beast in sheep's clothing. What was one of Apollo's animals called? It says here.
The dog, doggy style.
Apollo is associated with wolves.
Apollo's allied to Belphegor.
Accordingly believing that Apollo has brought the wolf on the herd.
Apollo supported dogs. Wolf
He's
is a dog.
God.
That means he's
Wolf
against
overcame
God.
the bull. Or Apollo had vanquished Poseidon, believing that Apollo had brought the wolf on the herd. He found a sanctuary of Apollo like seashells.
Apollo.
Out of fear.
apoLLo Shiva
This
Loki
bully.
Tessicapoca is the beast in
You're
sheep's
not supposed to
clothing.
fear the devil. Not supposed to fear Satan or their comrades or allies. And the house of Apollo attacks those followers of the Christos, who's called the lamb. And last we checked, the sheep, the lamb, herd immunity. That wolves feed on sheep. So Apollo was sent to destroy the sheep. Most likely sent to destroy the Christians. Or all those men who actually believe in gods.
It has
on the side of
abilities.
righteousness.
So instead of
But they
God,
worship this sign against their will. Rise up against evil. But don't burn a city down. Because Blaze is associated with Apollo.
and Apollo,
Land Blaze,
and
not
Apollo
the sun,
did
the
that.
Hiat.
Apollo did that as
Like
Nero.
Loki, his other name, or Shiva, who blazed with his third, that gem on the middle of his head, that red dot.
The destroyer.
As you see here, the wolf is his animal to call, the beast. You know that sign people do with their hands? They try to claim that was for rock and roll, but it's not. That satanic, that hand gesture,
The dog.
wolf, the sign of Belphegor, Apollo. Apollo is allied with that. I don't think a truly good parent or individual will even name their children or even be associated with this wolf, this beast in sheep's clothing, who's preying on sheep, on the blood of the lamb. If there was ever a guardian of the faith that believers in the Christos ever did, then it would have been rising up against Apollo
Inspired one's belief
and
system.
vanquishing him.
Apollo is evil and wicked.
It says here that one of Apollo's many numerous titles was lysigenes, which means born of a wolf.
Rome was
Not
born of a wolf.
Heaven, not of a god, as we know dogs do not go to heaven in this aspect.
Remus and Romulus was born of a wolf
Kill sheep.
as well. Rome.
They're not friends, they're not comrades to lambs. You're being deceived.
People.
Let's see who Abaddon. Let's see what Abaddon is. It's a fallen one. It says here. This is on Google, so it's not at cost.
Towards
Abaddon
infringement.
has what? Saturn and Selden? Apollo theaters, Apollo beaches, Apollo candy bars and movies.
Theme parks.
Those who worship the sign of a mouse,
Try
a
me-
rat.
Try to make Loki sing cool and Lucifer sing sexy. And a Red and Abaddon
This is what
network
people are
on
laying to
TV.
their temples unbeknownst to what they're truly doing. Disguised as Loki, the inventor of yoga.
The destroyer.
Now also keep in mind that the wicked
Shiva.
digits.
Apollo.
One way to spot those who are truly wicked
Tessicapoca.
and not righteous or good is that they'll always tend to go towards the evil or the wickedness in any situation. As if they're a shadowy person, they'll hide by the shadows. If they eat meat or the food of man, they'll go look towards any stuff with meaty products or that even looks like meat. So, what way will you spot someone who's wicked and they're speaking biblical stuff? Because they'll try to say any phrase that sounds like the wicked digits. So they'll quote a particular verse, because there's so many verses in the Bible that they could quote. But they'll usually pick 3, John 3, after 15, 16. Not so much for the content, but just because it's a way of them saying it. It's not written out, but if it's verbally said, after 15 is 16.
So they combine the
So
three
if
with
they say John 3:16, that's a way of them saying the wicked digits.
Because they could just read the verse without saying that
They
digit.
could have picked 721. They could have picked 777 or 777. But instead, they chose to purposely pick something that says 6, 6, and then the other one. If the whole book that was written was a holy book, then there's other verses in there that could redeem someone. There's other stuff he said. So watch out towards satanic people. Do not be deceived by the wicked ones. You guys got to be smart in that. And if you're born into wickedness or evil, just remember, your pupils gleam. And your pupils gleam, there has to be some goodness in you too. Some righteousness. You have pupils that see the light. You have those that hear the truth. The Lee House, 777. apoLLo, Apollyon, Abaddon. The destruction, the Omega sign. Means he's even attacked people at universities, fraternities, and common books, dark side, the Omega sign, anywhere where you see that. No one should, in their right mind, or no matter what they try to make it seem like it's someone else, they should not fancy someone such as Loki, apoLLo, Loki, Shiva, Ra, Tessicapoca. They should not fancy none of those names, epithets of this wicked one who's going to annihilate. He comes with blaze. He comes to his snare and carry one off on his wolf furnace and gobble down the innocent. Plagues, annihilation, blaze.
His son Asclepius'
There's
mother
no
was named
An
Coronis.
anti-hero, an anti-champion is someone who's against champions. Anti means against. So, an anti-champion is a villain. But this is not a planet. And these are not states and nations of villains. This is the stuff of legends. These are champions. And it's that more that champions need that you need.
All over the planet, all in the cosmos, the heavens themselves.
Stop being fake. Stop cosplaying. Be a true champion.
stand with love, stand with the lead.
Against evil, also
This
wickedness.
is apoLLo.
Not handsome, not
Attacking.
beautiful.
Says here, apoLLyon. apoLLo is the enemy. Even the Leon, the lions over Tiger, the island where he was, this fallen son of Zeus, this ally to Saturn, this devil, the adversary,
It's also
is apoLLo.
this has an enemy of
But this is
Christians.
not made up, this is very old. So this is
But
already
those who
known.
follow the
Someone's trying to
Christos.
deceive the masses. But I think the masses are a little bit more smart in that.
It says there apoLLo's the enemy of
I don't
Christians.
think I'm the only one.
But on Google it said apoLLo was a founding father of the Christians and a comrade. Somebody changed it.
Recently.
Doesn't look like a god to me.
That's apoLLo.
It's more like a devil or a demon. Or dead
And
moon.
also know that he doesn't have long flowing mane. He has a bald head with hair on the sides like a clown or an older person. A male who probably would so use chariots or drive one of those vans with a tropical shirt and a fat belly.
And a cigar.
I'm not making this up. I mean, you can read the
books for yourself.
Tezcatlipoca, Ascidian blades, Ascidian was associated with evil, and the Mayans.
Artists moderating now on deviant art, and Google, these younger people want to put whatever they want and add qualities. You're not supposed to mix evil and good. You're supposed to deal with the truth, and you're not supposed to mix wickedness with what reaches, or good with wickedness. Good, beauty, truth, lead, stand together. Your souls have value. apoLLo doesn't want you to see that. Where did he spot to? Because he was spotted in December, the side of the beast man, the Sagittarius. He carries the blades acting like it's the sun. Because apoLLo killed Chiron, the traitor, the centaur who trained Krishna, the centaur who trained Yason. apoLLo is on the side. His bride is Anvil itself, Ate. You can look all this up, but look past the first images of Google. Look past the first data that you get on the screen. You gotta be vigilant and you gotta have a stronger will. Because somebody is trying to deceive people underneath Google's nose. They've been infiltrated by some teenager who's most likely into some satanic stuff.
We're going to sacrifice everybody else with them. That's not accurate. It's not good.
That can't be allowed.
And Google doesn't have a nose.
That hole in the chest means he has no soul. This is not saying that you should follow any particular religion or race, but apoLLo had been in the remaking of beliefs, which is the word, is what Ra Religion means. Religion. It means red means to do over. Religion again.
To upset.
apoLLo had tampered with a lot of people's stuff, mostly against their will, and snuck in, just like he did to the great Krishna when he drugged him and got him to kill his family, children, and oTheR's children, and breed it. One race is not superior to any other in that aspect. If you're going to be into those of Hebrew or Israel for any skin tone or any group period, then do so with true honor, not with the breed. You come in that breed and that racism, and you can't see that if your race is against another skin tone on this planet, then they're going to come with that same racism to a god or to those who dwell in the heavens. And they bring that there, then I'm sure that the gods would not want no stuff to do with them. First, every group in this land of the United States have to put aside their breed, and they will have to actually humble themselves. No race of man is superior than any other race of man. Man didn't make man. Gods have made this. But man makes movies to try to kill gods because they've been misled by apoLLo and Ate. apoLLo, Shiva, Loki, his bride, Ate, the incarnation, apoLLo's breed, is evil. That H, that feeling one feels for another skin.
It starts with an H and it sounds like dislikement. Ate.
Put the racism aside. Put your discriminations, misuse aside. If you're tough, then vanquish apoLLo. Prior he destroys, annihilates you. Mortals. With Blaze. He has a hole in his chest because he has no soul. He sold his soul.
To Belphegor.
Him and Ra, Thor. And each targets Adakio, Juno, and Shera. And Mephisto following his pawn.
Dionysus, Bacchus, Metatron, Set, Enoch.
And Aries back by Cosbel, the Saturn. Sold their souls, but Zeus, for all his, and to attack Zeus or to go against Zeus is a clarity saying to go to denounce God. Since, and it's also that they come in disguises, like trying to get people to like Bruce Wayne, not for his reason of being a champion, but because he lives closer to Demon. And you had a comic book that came out that said Son of the Demon. And they've tried to pick Kal-El to be weak or to corrupt. Kal-El is partially, it's supposed to be the Christos.
Originally,
So in these clever ways, these
Mary and
fanatics
Joseph.
is trying to get ones to be deceived, to denounce different images of God and God's children and God's sons and gods, and choose evil and wicked. By embracing the dog, it's saying they're denouncing God, since dog is God spelled backwards. Get woke. Woke means being aware.
It's deceived. Does it?
Even in the shadows, there's light. You gotta hold on to that light and let it shine. Let it gleam.